Howdy, pards, MrHolster. Back in the shop where it's warm and toasty. Yeah, the upper deck here, it's like 20 degrees warmer up here than it is down on the main floor. Well, yeah, it's wintertime. This is what we're going to look at today. I showed you the other day my Gould and Goodrich, and I'm going to read you the number of it again in case you might be interested in this. Gould and Goodrich belt slide holster. That's what they call it, a belt slide holster. It's 891-K40 for my car C&W 45, which it fit fantastic right out of the... I didn't have to do anything to this baby. But I thought I'd compare this with a very similar holster in close to the same price range. It's a little more expensive. This one runs $22. And the other one is the El Paso. It's called the El Paso Combat Express, and it runs $33. And we're going to compare the two so you can see the difference in case you're looking at these two holsters. Midway USA sells both these holsters. That's where I got them from. And they're kind of a nice little neat holster you can carry at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock area. And they're designed so you can get the belt loop in between your pants belt loop, in between these two belt loops, and it really gives you a good platform, secure. Tucks it in tight, cinch that belt up, tucks it in tight to your side, and gives you a good platform to put your gun in. But I thought I'd compare these two because if you go on their website like I did and you find both of them, and you start thinking, well, the one's $10 cheaper, and I don't really see any difference, and I think I'll get the cheaper one, or I don't know, maybe I should get the more expensive one. It must be better. You see? And I thought I'd show it to you, show you the two of them, and so you got a little more knowledge on what they are and can make a better informed decision. Yeah. So here we are. Let's start with the Gould and Goodrich holster, the belt slide holster by them. And here you go. Nice stitching. Very nice stitching all along here. Very nicely done here. The leather smells very good. I have to assume it's vegetable tan because it doesn't smell nasty. Nowadays it's hard to tell because you can get vegetable tan leather that's actually been tanned twice. Originally tanned with chemicals you don't want near your gun and then finished up with vegetable tanning process, and they'll call it 100% vegetable tan. So you really don't know nowadays. There are ways to test it, and I talked about that in my video on the holster for my SIG P220. I'll put a link there if you're interested in finding that out. I won't waste your time here talking about it again. So here we go. A nice holster. Very nice holster. The leather could be a little stiffer, but it's hard to call it that way because you see there's not a lot of molding for that gun. And the way the size of this holster and everything, there's not a lot of molding that's been done on there. And every time you put in another little curve and mold for where the gun sits, mold it around the gun, you get an edge, you get a stiffer, better holster. Yeah. So, but I'd say this is all right. It's all right. One thing I noticed right off the top is the edges are not finished on the leather, which anytime you come in contact with oil and of course wax, it gets absorbed by these open pores where it's not been sealed, and that tends to make the leather become soft and flabby, and of course soft leather tears easier than hard leather. Yeah, so you don't want to put anything on your holsters like oil or wax if you can avoid it. Every now and then you may want to clean it up and do a little something, but I really, really hesitate to ever do that to my holsters. About the most I ever do is just one little second spritz of silicone. Like that, maybe once a year. Maybe twice, maybe once every 6 months at most, depending on the usage the holster's getting. Just other than that, just keep it clean. And you can clean it off every now and then with some pH balanced saddle soap or a product like that, but I'd be really careful with that because the saddle soap will soften the leather too. So you want to be really sparing with that. A little bit of warm water and just a little bit of that until you get it clean. Once it's clean, quit playing with it. Anyway, I'm like Mr. Holster always does, far astray here. Let's get to the combat. Let's see what they call it again. They call it it's the El Paso Saddlery Combat Express. Yeah, the Combat Express by El Paso Saddlery. And right away, very similar holster. You can see it's a little more wet molded, a few more turns in it, angles, which is going to make the leather a little stiffer, and it is. It's not as likely to collapse. Belt loop's pretty much the same, except for this one, you've got the two pieces of leather glued and sewn together to give you a thicker belt loop. So there's, right there, a huge difference between the two. This is going to be able to support a much heavier gun than this one is. I'd be very hesitant to carry a 1911 in this holster, because that's just not enough support, I would feel. This one, different story. You got a lot of support here, a wide belt loop here, and your belt loop on your pants going in between. Going to give you a very sturdy platform. And of course, on these holsters, you can't expect too much. Again, very nice smelling leather. I have to assume it's vegetable tan. And I like El Paso. They're an old established company and seem to do a very good job. Both of them have the designation stamped on it of what the holster's for, which is nice. And if it doesn't have that, you should really write it on your holster so you know, and you don't have the wrong holster and throw a loaded gun in there and cause a mishap. I would say this is far better holster, without question, but if you got a lightweight gun, I don't think it's going to make any difference. Sometimes you don't have choices in these matters because they make this holster for these guns and this one maybe for some different guns, so you can get this one, but you can't get this one. I wouldn't hesitate to buy this, obviously. I bought it for my car, and more than adequate to support this firearm. And when you have a gun that's a $300 and some gun, you hate to get too deep into the cost of the holster. So at $22, this is an exceptional value, a very nicely made holster for $22. No complaints, but I will say it's worth the extra money, the extra $11 to get the El Paso Saddlery. It's a little stiffer due to the wet molding. The finish is better. It's finished on the edges where the other isn't, and it's got that double leather on the belt loop to make it a little sturdier. Other than that, not much difference between the two holsters. There you go, Pards. Just thought I'd make this quick video in case you were looking for a holster like this. These are handy holsters to have if you like a minimalistic type of holster. Inexpensive. Wrong holster. Inexpensive. But work quite well. And if you're carrying a lightweight gun, a lightweight holster is probably what you really want, as much as you can get one without sacrificing the integrity of the holster. Again, this holster has one thing going for it, and both of them, same design, is you can get a full purchase on your firearm. You've got it just the way you're going to shoot it right off the bat when you pull it out, which is what you need in a concealed carry holster. You don't need to, okay. Hold it, wait, let me get this right. Yeah, that feels good. You see what I'm saying? Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Till next time, I'll put a link down below on these holsters from Midway USA and the names of the holsters in case you're interested. Till next time, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Now go out and stay safe.